Okay. Get things set up. I know there's nobody in here at the moment, but for people watching in the future, this not working out right there. Let's make sure we do this. Oh, hey, we got somebody. Oh. Well, you're gonna watch me. Oh, we got three people in here. The first three people are gonna watch me mess around with my camera while I get it as close as I possibly. Oh my gosh. While I get it as close as I possibly can to how I do it on YouTube. There we go. Okay, hang on. I'm loading myself up on my laptop too, so I can see comments from two different directions while I look all over the place. What's up, guys? Can everybody hear me? And I assume that people can hear me because the chat thing loaded up. Yeah, all right, good. How's this? How's the sound quality and the video quality? Is it all right? Good, good deal. Okay, gosh. Okay, so that I have a new laptop and it's a MacBook, and I don't know anything. I've used Android and I've used Windows forever, and now I'm messing around with this MacBook, and I can't get anything to do exactly what I want it to do. Oh man. I've never gone live before. I've never done this. And my buddy Jeff keeps telling me, you got to go live. People like to watch live stuff. And I never get an opportunity to do live stuff because, I mean, my weekends don't really allow for it. I don't have a whole lot of time to go live or, it doesn't generally work out for me. So this is going to be, I don't know, it might be 30 minutes or so. It's just I'm kind of testing the waters and playing with this, trying to find out if the live thing is going to be for me. Yeah, trying to decide if I really want to do this. There may only be like between 2 and 10 of you in here tonight, and that's fine with me. I just, I'm at a home by myself right now, and it's a good opportunity for me to talk with a few people. So, how do I refresh on Mac? Is it the green button or the yellow button or it's not the red or the yellow? Is it the green button? No, green maximizes things. Oh God. Refresh. I have no idea. Who knows? Oh, so what's going on? What's everybody doing? Everybody, all two of you. Browsing YouTube, watching knife stuff. Me too. I would love to do it once a week or once a month. I'd love to be on a schedule with live stuff. That would be awesome. Um, yeah, that's what I do on Saturday. That's what I do every night is watch YouTube and flip my knives. I watch other channels who are way more entertaining than myself, and then I take notes. um, but yeah, I would like to be on like a live schedule. I'd like to be able to tell you guys like, hey, every third Saturday of the month I'm going to be live and I'm going to be doing this or whatever. I wish I could do that, but it's so hard, because it's kind of quiet time around here in my house, and generally my wife's here, and we spend time together on Saturday nights. Just because the week is so busy, so it doesn't always work out. But man, I would love to be on a live schedule. So what I'm trying to do on this laptop is figure. Oh, there we are. I wanted to see my live. I wanted to see what quality I'm working with from my own laptop. Okay, now I can see it and there's an echo. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, now I can see it and there's an echo. Okay. Okay, so I don't need that. That's fine. I can do it right here on the phone. So this is interesting to me. I thought I was going to need a computer because I was like, well, how am I going to be able to see people's comments? How am I going to be able to interact with people on my phone? It can't possibly be that easy, to just like hook my phone up to a tripod and hit the live button and just start talking. But apparently it is. Hey, there's 9 people in here now. That's pretty cool. Um, so just so you guys know, like, I mean, I've got some of the more serious eye candy from the last few weeks up on the table right now, but I'm in my basement and I brought every single knife down here that I've got access to. There we go. We're seeing some comments now. What's up, Chad? So every knife that what's up, Shane? Every knife that I have that you guys have seen on my channel here recently that is, still in my possession, is right beside me. So if there's something you guys want to see or something you guys want to talk about, you know, feel free to ask me. I don't know everything, especially you guys who have been watching my channel for a long time. Hey, no problem, Bryce. Glad you could make it. And for any of you who got my story update on Instagram, I decided under the Hellhound. This this is an Olamic Wayfarer Classic. This is another one of Jeff's knives. It's got the sheep's foot blade and the. I wish Jeff was in here. He could explain what that is. It's kind of it's like a rock pattern, or it's like an underwater rock pattern. Pretty sweet. I love this knife. In fact, it's honestly the Wayfarer is the classic Wayfarer is one of my favorite knives ever. I really, really like the feel and the look. I like the pistol grip kind of handle. It just it makes me think of something that's shaped like a pistol. Just cool. Anyways, I can't remember what I was talking about, but every knife, like not just the stuff you're seeing here, there's like 30 more knives beside me. Everything that I've ever talked about, expensive and inexpensive, that is still in my possession is right beside me. So if you guys have a question about, or you want to talk about something that I didn't talk about on a particular review, just bring it up. No problem. I'd be glad to talk about it. Excuse me. Taking a sip of a beverage. I don't know. Can you guys hear my dogs? My dogs are barking like crazy. I don't know if that's bothering anybody. 10 people. I honestly didn't expect. I didn't even expect like 2 people to show up, but that's cool that there are actually 10 people. Here's the thing. I'm not really talking about knives, but what's bizarre about doing a live video is that, like when I'm standing in my living room and you guys can imagine how weird it is to just like lay a bunch of stuff out and just start talking. Can you speak to how well DLC blade coatings age? What's up, Eric from Texas? Bryce, I will do my best. So I don't have an enormous amount of experience with enough different types of DLCs to be able to speak to that. But I will say this, and I think this will give kind of an idea. If you watch that video of my buddy's Boker Kalashnikov, that wasn't even what I would consider to be a very high quality DLC coating. In fact, I don't even think it is a DLC coating. I think it's a really cheap coating that's applied by Boker or whoever. And that thing was used and beaten into the ground for like 13 years. And surprisingly, the vast majority of it was still on the knife, which was, that blew me away. From what I understand, the tungsten-based stuff that you see on like Spyderco knives, you can see here on this one, I don't know if you can or not. I got a couple of scuffs and things, but for the most part, it's fine. But a lot of times the Rockwell on the tungsten-based stuff, like the real stuff, is like 80 Rockwell, which means it's way harder than anything else that it's going to come in contact with. So if it scrapes up against Benjamin Spyderco, avoid it. Yeah. So the scratches generally that you're going to see on like this type of stuff, it's going to be basically the pulverized material of whatever it was that it came in contact with. Hey, Steve, what's going on, man? Steve has been around for a long time. I appreciate you, Steve. But anyways, yeah, like those are the marks that you're going to see on those. And they do come off with some scrubbing, but it's pretty hard to scratch through that true tungsten-based DLC stuff, in my experience. Now, there's a whole bunch of different types of DLC, and then there's also like Cerakote and PVD, and then there's paint. But whatever Boker used on that Kalashnikov was beyond impressive to me. So, I would have to assume like the stuff from Spyderco and Benchmade, like I've seen people around here carrying knives like this that have really put them to work. I sold a truck to a police officer one time, and he showed me a DLC Spyderco that he had carried for years, and it was pretty beat up, and some of it was coming off, but it looked really good. So, everybody's mileage is going to vary, but, I must have missed something. Your Manix 2 looks a lot different. Did you ditch the copper? Yes, I did ditch the copper. To finish off the last thing that I was talking about, here's the problem with me going live. You guys will be able to take advantage of my ADD, and I will not finish an answer to somebody's question before I start talking about something else. Um, Anyways, yeah, I think mileage is going to vary, but for the most part, I think the tungsten-based DLCs, or the is it diamond light carbon? Is that diamond light coating, whatever that stands for? I think those real hardcore DLC coatings are really going to stand the test of time for the most part. Here's an issue that I'm having. Oh, I see. I can bring the comments back up just by touching, so I can scroll back through. Okay, so let's see here. Shane, I must have missed something about. Oh yeah, so the copper scales, I ditched them because the Manix 2, that's this particular one that has the full steel liners, is already butt heavy with G10, and the copper scales made it so butt heavy and heavy in general, like 8 ounces. I just wasn't getting the pocket time anymore. I mean, my pocket has been dominated by this guy right here. And I still love the Manix too, but I just couldn't care. I mean, I love the copper scales, how they look too, but my pockets were dominated by the Shaman because this guy was too heavy. So I took him back off, found some Alan Putnam whatever scales, and then used the whole thing with the Flytanium cage installation, which if you haven't seen that cage is titanium, made by Flytanium now. Took it apart, put that on, decided to put some custom scales on, just kind of make it new. Just put a fresh coat of paint on it. Speedy Plays, what's up? Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Steve said, I don't think Benchmade is using DLC. They're using, and you're probably right because I don't know. They're using Cerakote, Spyderco DLC coating it spectacular. I would agree. Spyderco DLC. I mean, I don't specifically like DLC coated blades, but I really like Spyderco's. It seems to hold up really, really well. And Benchmade. You're probably right. I don't know enough about what Benchmade's using to comment on that. Benchmade or Spyderco ergonomics. Spyderco all the way. I like Benchmade. Like they've got some good models, but Spyderco's ergonomics are. I mean, I got this guy right here. Just that choke up. Oh, that choke up. You guys have seen. You heard me talk about that on the channel. I love that choke up. When I'm cutting cardboard behind the fence in my backyard, that choke up position really, really helps out. Okay, trying to keep up with comments here. Junior V, what's up, man? How you doing? I've been here for a minute, but I'm fighting with Harns. Thanks for the entertainment, no problem. I'd like to see a video about action one day from you. I know Birdshot 4 has done a shootout for Fidget Factor. That's a good idea. I'll try and keep that in mind. Big Stem says, looks great. Speedy Plays, what's your favorite band and artist? So I have never talked about like anything else on camera other than my love of knives and that I like cars, that I'm a fan of the automotive industry. What I really like, so I spend for the last 10 years I have been a huge gym rat, and a big part of going and working out and staying motivated every day for me is very aggressive music. So I actually listen, for the most part, I listen to some symphonic and some like heavy orchestral stuff every now and then, but for the most part I listen to really heavy metal. And no, I look like a regular guy. I wear a nice shirt, nice pants to work every day, and I comb my hair, and but so I'm just assuming what people imagine when they hear metalhead, but I have to imagine that there's a correlation between people who are interested in folding knives and people who like aggressive music. Am I alone there? I don't know. That's what I like. My favorite band ever, that's really hard because if we're talking about like classic old school rock, yeah, the Eagles. But if we're talking about the newer stuff, like crazy, oh man, probably Within the Ruins. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of them. They're very aggressive, and a lot of you are going to judge me for if you go and listen to that music right now. My taste in music ranges from the Eagles to Within the Ruins. Let's say that. Let's see here. What do you think about the zero tolerance 0920 that's for sale for $175? Is the 09, yeah, Speedy Plays, yes, I like Slipknot. The 0920, is that the one that's based on the Les George Harpy? The big one? Because if it's on sale for $175, I'm thinking about shutting the live feed off and going and buying it for myself right now. I can't remember. Nico Diaz, you're a metalhead too. Good deal. No way. What's your favorite car? I'm a diehard super fanboy. So I generally I am more like the American muscle car stuff, but I used to sell Toyota alongside Chrysler. So I left the automotive business, or I left the dealership right as the new Supra was coming out. And I think I love Toyota, and I really like the Supra. I'm not really big on the, I don't know everything about the history of it, but I think the Supra is absolutely an iconic car. And if you're going to lust after something, I think the Supra is definitely a good one there. Another knife guy says, I like Hanson. I did too in the early 90s. Hey, Harry, I'm glad you made it in here, bud. What's up, man? Hey, if you guys see on there, Shaker MT is Harry from my Patreon. He's the gentleman who has provided me with an enormous amount. Actually, one of his knives is up here right now, the Spartan Palace. God, I love this thing. I'm so glad he let me take a look at this and a bunch of the other stuff. Glad you're in here, Harry. That's awesome. Let's see. Let me go down here. Steve, several of us are ordering the Riot Longmont field duty knives this week. When you get a chance, check those out. 3 variants or variations. I'm sure it would be right up your alley. I'll have to check on that. The combination of the machine gun style comments, me not knowing how to really operate a live thing, and I'm consuming beverages right now is going to make it a little bit difficult to keep track of all this. Let's see. Nice. I have a 2015 Challenger Scat Pack. Hey, that's cool, man. So my brother drives a 2017 Daytona Charger that I sold him, and I drive a 2018 RT Durango with the SRT body. I am a huge Mopar fan, so anything Charger Challenger, I mean, even whether it was before the old SRTs having the 6.1s or the newer ones with the 392s, Scat Packs, all that stuff. Love it. I think that's really cool. Let's see. I'm actually catching up with the comments here. Another knife guy says, check out a Freeman folder 451 button lock. I actually had a gentleman on Instagram contact me about that knife exactly. If everything works out, there will be a titanium variant of that knife on my channel in the very near future. Absolutely. I love how they do the grinds on that. It's super cool. And I like button locks, but I mean, like, especially after handling this. I know I keep showing it, but God dang it, I love this knife. This thing is just amazing. Oh, terrible. There we go. This thing is just really, really cool, and my love for button locks has been, I don't know how you want to say that. It's been amplified. Let's see. Mopar, no car. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Chris, LRM Freeman folder 451 is really good. I have it in my collection. It looks awesome. I hear they come in aluminum and titanium, so that's pretty cool. Every single button lock folder that I have seen that's a manual and that's not the same sort of piston engagement is an aluminum-based knife. And I like aluminum. I like it, but if I can get it in titanium, then I'm going to want to go for it. So I'm really happy that Freeman's doing a version of it in titanium. Junior V, I got it centered, but now the action sucks. What do you have centered? That story of my life. I got it centered, but the action sucks. That's a knife guy problems. Hashtag knife guy problems. What state are you in? I feel like knife tastes sometimes vary by region. That's a good point. It probably does. I'm in Kansas. We can carry anything out here. If you want to, in Kansas, you want to walk down the street with the sword that what's his name carried in that William Wallace carried in. Oh, for God's sakes! I can't believe I'm messing with. If you want to carry a claymore, you can do that in Kansas. As long as it's not a ballistic knife and it doesn't fire out of the handle, you can carry that here. So definitely, I mean, we're different than California or New York. Some places that have knife laws. Do you think Gerber can turn their act around? They're obviously trying with the fastball. So I heard what Nick Shabazz said about, he's been talking with one of the guys who helped develop. I think he said one of the guys that's going to help develop the fastball, and he's going to go take a factory tour or something. I'm going to wait and see what Nick says. And I know that a lot of people are like, do you just let kind of Nick Shabazz kind of pave the way for? Basically, I trust what Nick says. So, sorry, I keep hearing noises. If there's if Nick is going to kind of open a door, shed some light on what Gerber is capable of based on what they're doing right now, I will be intrigued. That's as much as I can say about that. In San Diego, tastes are a bit different. I imagine they are. I've never been. I've never been to California. I'm sure it would be interesting to find out what people like to carry there. Braveheart. Thank you, Cody. I can't believe I forgot the name of that movie. The first knife I saw from Spartan Blades was the Nymph. Way too small, and I turned away from the brand. But the one on your table looks nice. It is super nice. This is a super nice knife. A lot of people are going to be turned away by it for the fact that it's aluminum S35VN and it's 280 bucks. But God, I mean, the closest thing here, let me pull it out of my box here. I haven't shown this, but I should do a battle between these two knives. Here's the Microtech SOCOM Elite, and here's the Spartan Palace. These two are extremely similar in how they feel and the overall length and the quality. But look at this. Oh, this has a huge footprint. Yeah, you get M390, blah, 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 but it's 187,000 stock thickness. This is like 145. I mean, this is a way more pocket-friendly knife, and both of these knives are 280 bucks. So I need to do a battle video between those two. Hang on here. Okay, there's the Braveheart comments. Chad, you're from Kansas too. Hey, are you a Wildcat fan or a Jayhawk fan? Your answer will determine whether or not I proceed to talk with you. No, I'm just kidding. Big Stems. That what blade HQ had a map of what knives sold, what state bought them. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I'll have to check that out. Junior V, it's a harness knife. I don't care why. I don't know why I'm putting so much effort into an under 3-inch blade knife with HCR. Well, you wouldn't be a knife guy if you didn't go into into depth about every decision that you make in terms of your EDC. Andrew McDonald, help me with my next purchase. Benchmade bug out 535 or Benchmade 551 Griptilian. I'm definitely going to say Griptilian, but you have to understand something. I'm biased. I don't like the bug out. Truthfully, I mean, I don't want to say I don't like it. It just feels too frail to me. I mean, either way, if you go with the Griptilian or the bug out, my recommendation is going to be that you put aftermarket scales on it to get rid of the FRN. Truthfully, over both of them, and I'm cheating here with my suggestion, I would recommend the Hogue Ritter, the RSK MK1 G2, which for whatever reason is not in its place. I have no idea where that knife is. I need to figure that out. That's weird. I wonder where that went. But that's basically a Benchmade Griptilian that comes with G10 and M390, and it's 150 bucks. But Griptilian, if you don't want to go that route. You read my mind. Aluminum and specs are close. Thank you, Eric. Another knife guy. At Andrew McDonald, Benchmade Anthem, screw it, LOL. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm catching up to comments. Dwight, what's up, man? Dwight Doucette. What's going on? Chad, you're a Jayhawk fan. Oh, thank God. I am a huge. I'm not big. I mean, like, I'll watch football if it's on. I'll watch, Royals if it's on. I don't really care. But when it comes to basketball season, oh man, if there are days during basketball season where I don't upload something, it's probably because I'm watching basketball. I will still try to get uploads out all the time. Junior VR recommended, baby. Let's see. What's up, Therapeutic Edge? Jake Welsh has been around for a while. I recognize that name. Carry either Paramilitary 2 with a Leatherman Wave or a Benchmade Bug Out with a Victorinox Cadet. Would like to get into higher end knives, but I'm only 14, so I spent all of my money on those. If you're 14, listen, Jake, if you're 14 years old and you've got that setup, you're gonna be set. I mean, as far as like the bar that's been set for you, as far as like good EDC knives, you are on exactly the right path, man. I started out with some absolute nonsense, and it took me 10 years to understand that, my opinions on things and how they translate to or correlate to, heavy quotes on a correct EDC setup. I was all over the place. So you're on the right path. So if you've spent all your money, it's money well spent. You don't need to spend more money for a while. Coming from an obsessed knife guy. Mark Ridgewell, is Flightanium Cage ball for Manix 2 worth of $40? Yes, absolutely. I think this thing is so cool, and I've been calling for this for so long. I tried to track that guy down on the forums whose dad like machined a few of these. That guy's a ghost. I'm so happy that they did this. And you know what? If you want to save a few bucks, go with the copper or the brass. They're 100 times more durable than the plastic ones that it comes with. And that's not to say that the plastic one isn't just fine. The plastic one is probably going to be just fine. But if you ever feel like, I mean, with me, here's the thing. It's not that I didn't think the plastic one was durable enough. I just don't like the feeling of plastic on a knife that I consider to be a more hard use oriented knife. I wanted it to be, I didn't want to have to worry about whether or not that cage would fail me, in an extreme situation, extreme office cutting, I guess. Excuse me, I have to take a drink. Anyways, but yeah, it's absolutely worth it. Timbo 437, glad you're popping in, man. Junior, I have a Raven 2. She's my baby. I want to crow to like an actual raven, like a bird. I've heard that those can be complicated pets. Another knife guy. I'm pretty happy with my Ferrum Forge Con. I like Ferrum Forge. Don't know anything about the Con. I imagine you probably made a good choice. So, Mark, I'm glad you're sold on it, man. You won't regret it. Harry, I'm gonna say when I say Harry, it's Shaker MTV. I'm sorry, Shaker MT. I just ordered a Chavez Group knife 229, and is it Teep or Tape Designs Hornet, as well as acquiring an MKT Marauder H. Harry's got some cool stuff that hopefully he's going to let me take a look at on the channel, and I am, of course, infinitely appreciative of that, but I'm also very, very excited to get my hands on some of that stuff. That's pretty cool, man. Timbo 437, Tam Jake at 14, you already have a PM2. Yeah, way ahead of way ahead of the curve, man. At 4, I love that you're 14 and that you're getting into knives, and that your EDC setup is what a lot of people would consider elite. Let's see here. Da, da, da. The key to this is just like making a video. If you don't have anything to say, just make noise. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. You guys are chatting it up. That's cool. Where are your sharpening videos? That's a good question. So I edit my sharpening videos. That's from Big Stems, by the way. I edit my sharpening videos to condense them down to something that is easy for you guys to watch. In other words, I know nobody wants to sit around and watch me sharpen a knife for an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes because I'm a novice. It takes me that long. So I shorten things up. But the truth is that the reason I can pump out videos so quickly is because I don't have a script. So when I talk about a knife, I know what I want to say about it because I've been carrying it for 2 or 3 days. And if it's not somebody else's knife, I've been using it a little bit, and I can do a whole review and just talk. I'm really good at talking and getting my words out. But at a sharpening video, I'm not good at that, and I have to like keep my dialogue up at the same time and connect. So basically, it kind of goes against the grain in terms of time management with this channel because I want to get a video out all the time, and also not a whole lot of people watch it. I have been doing it and I have been practicing. I'm trying to figure out how I can make sharpening more entertaining on this channel and apply it to certain things, I guess. I don't know. That I'm being vague on purpose, but good question. The tape will be, Harry says the tape or teep will be heading to you as soon as I get it. If you want to check out the newest Chavez, I'll send it as well. I would, Harry. I'd be so excited. I think a lot of people would be very interested to see the 229 on this channel. Definitely. You could share the adult beverages. Yeah. Did you see the 10-hour bug out opening and closing video Blade HQ posted on YouTube the other day? I can't think of a lot of things that I can think of. Well, let me put it this way. That's one of the last things that I would ever want to do is sit and watch 10 hours of somebody opening, closing a bug out. That's fun. I didn't even know that they did that. Let's see. Are you at least getting the hang of that KMA? I think so. But like, by some people's standards, I think that they'd be really impressed, and by other people's standards, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, somebody take this precision sharpening system away from this idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing." So I can make knives sharper than they once were, and my brother's Lightning is the best. That was the best outcome I've had on it. It was pretty good. Do you use a sharpening system or freehand? I use a KME. Junior says, I can't seem to get a legit mirror polish on my Lansky diamond system. I have a leather strop and jeweler's Rogue, but I can't get it as good as I see on Instagram. What system do you use? Junior, you're way ahead of me, buddy. And that question may not have actually even been have been meant for me. I have no idea how you get a mirror edge. Let's see here. KME with lapping films. Yeah, that sounds like what I've heard. I'm behind on the comments here. I bought a bug out in less than 2 weeks. The Omega screen broke. That sucks. So as much as I dislike the bug out, and I really don't like the Tanto version, the bailout, I don't think that it's a bad knife. I think it'll serve most people well. I also don't dislike the axis lock, though I have talked about my dislike, or not dislike, but my distrust of Omega springs because they can break. I think your situation is probably an isolated one. I know we hear about Omega springs breaking all the time on the internet, but it's one of those things where if you seek out the information, you're going to hear about it. I have personally never had an Omega spring break, and I've owned many knives with Omega springs. So I hope that the Benchmade's warranty will take care of you there. I imagine it would, and you should be in good shape with your next one. Let's see here. Better than a person, free all the way. I wish I knew how to sharpen freehand. Whoops, I just went all the way down the bottom. Let's see here. KME Club in here. What is your opinion on recurve blades? Chris, if that question is meant for me, I dislike recurve blades both aesthetically and just the idea. I've never actually attempted to sharpen one with a system like the KME. But just the idea of trying to sharpen a recurve gives me nightmares and makes me pucker. Excuse me, I'm going to take another drink. I don't know. I suppose on a custom knife, like some of what Strider does with his recurves and reverse recurves, and like the recurve on the Hellfire blade on an XM18, that might not bother me very much, but that's, we're just looking at we're talking about a custom knife, like just about anything on a knife like this, I would be pumped about because it's a Marfione custom, I mean, not that the Warhound blade looks great on it, but when we're talking about custom knives, it can almost be anything. Okay, let's see here. Excuse me, I'm about to belch. I didn't want to do that into the camera. I never had an issue with my old 940-2. I think the 940 is one of the most one of the best knives that Benchmade has ever put out. It doesn't surprise me you're happy with that. Yes, the Benchmade warranty took care of it. That's awesome. Good deal. Good to hear. Randy says, hey, MC, fairly new. By the way, I love that you guys call me MC. That's cool. It's easier than saying Metal Complex every single time or spelling it out. That's cool. My buddy did the logo, and I told him, I said, people have been calling me MC, so if you could just make that the logo, I think that would work out. And I love that you guys are all kind of latching onto that. That's cool. Fairly new subscriber, enjoying the channel so far. Usually don't make the live. Fiance went to bed. Hey, I'm glad you made it because this is the first time I've ever done a live, and there are way more. There's over double the amount of people I thought would come into this and sit here and listen to me talk. So I'm glad you made it because I don't know when I'm going to be doing it next. John Duncan, freehand is easier once you get a few tries on a $10 blade. When the recurve isn't hard, I totally had the same sentiment at first. Just don't scratch the sides. John, I'm sure you're right. Maybe I need to practice. Definitely. Jake Welch again says, what is your preferred angle to sharpen your carry knives at? All of mine are set at 17 degrees. I don't know if that question is meant for me or not, because there's some people in here that are obviously, better at sharpening than I am. If the question is meant for me, I don't know. My KME, whenever I look at it, in terms of like the bevels that I'm trying to get it set up to, and it's a little bit off because it depends on how tall the blade is and how, whether or not it's like forward or backwards in the vise or what angle I've got it turned at. It seems to be anywhere between like 18 and 25. I don't know. I try to get it as close as I can to the factory bevel, but I don't know for sure. And I haven't used that digital angle square yet. I should be using that, but I haven't used it yet. Let's see here. Shaker MT, you need to get stickers made up for us to buy. Yes, you're right, I do. I've looked, here's my thoughts on that. I'm gonna get stickers out, but I'm also thinking like, what would be cool and different? Because like everybody has stickers. So, I've got some funds reserved to do something like that. And it may nothing may come out. I may not be able to do anything super cool, but I'm trying to think of like something that people could attach to their keys that has my logo on it. That might just be fun. A sticker's great. I mean, I can do that if you guys want it, but I'm trying to figure something else out too, maybe alongside it. Oh, let's see. It has been a great show so far, MC. Hey, Boyd McDonald, thank you. I appreciate it because I wasn't sure how this was going to go. Let's see. We all love knives, and they all need sharpening eventually. That is, that should be on a T-shirt. That's right. You can get metaphorical with that. Cody says, anything in particular on your wish list or something headed your direction? Interesting question, Cody. Interesting question. So I talk a lot about Excalibur. I'll tell you what God dang it, I wish Jeff was in here because I came so close to buying a $1,600 custom, oh my gosh, Strider knife. I found an amazing monochromatic orange peel textured Strider SMF MSC, so a mixed Strider custom in a nightmare grind. And I'm not even really a fan of Strider knives, but this one just exploded my brain, and I was like, oh, I want that. And I came close to buying it, but I didn't. But I did find something else, and I can't tell you what it is because I am 99% sure that I'm buying it. It's much less expensive, but it is going to be interesting, and it's going to be something you guys are somewhat familiar with, I'm pretty sure. So fun stuff, and I'm going to be theatrically vague about it. Good question, Cody. I'm sure your sharpening videos will get viewers. They probably would. I just need to experiment it with a little bit more and figure out like where I'm at with it and get more comfortable with it so that I'm more charismatic on camera. I mean, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but I think one of the bigger things with my channel is that I think people like my personality. They like that I'm excited about things, and most of that is organic. When it's inorganic is when I'm sharpening. I kind of felt like I had to force it because I had to. It's not because I didn't enjoy it. It's because I put so much focus on sharpening that my personality didn't come out. So you guys were just watching like a guy sharpen that was like becoming less and less and less like engaging with his audience. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make that work a little bit better. Best Tech Fanboy says, go old school and do scratch and sniff. I don't know what that means. It sounds like good advice. Steve says, you haven't got the Medford Praetorian tie sold. Kind of. It is kind of. I'm waiting on the second half of the transaction. Let's put it that way. But the gentleman who purchased that is going to be very, very happy with it. Keychain opener with a bottle opener and would totally buy that. See, I feel like stuff like that people would like. And then every time they open their beverage, they're like, man, MC's cool. I don't know. I'm kicking that around. A travel-sized blade cleaning cloth with your logo would be cool. That's an awesome idea. Thank you. Definitely. Kyle Roberts says, hey, what's up, man? Kitten Vision Network says, cool. It is cool. Thank you for saying that. Eric from Texas, MC, what else is part of your EDC? Have you done a pocket dump on your channel? So for a long time, I carried a whole bunch of, I did do an EDC video, and I used to carry a lot more. Truthfully, what I carry right now is I carry a pocket in my front right hand, I carry a knife. This guy a lot lately. Front right-hand side pocket, rear right pocket, is the Victorinox Cadet. The Victorinox Cadet is my favorite rear right-hand side pocket ever. My backup knife, the one that I hand to people when they're about to cut open a tin can of tuna, or whatever, something that I don't want them to use my nicer knife with. So that at the moment, that's all I carry. I need to get a pen. I need to learn about pens and get a good pen. Spending somewhere between 50 and $100. I know you guys are going to want to throw a bunch of stuff at me, but it's going to be really hard for me to remember right now. But yeah, I need to get an easy pen. Why are you selling the Praetorian tie so fast? Because I have a sickness, Kyle Roberts. I have a sickness it's not driven by my need to have consistently new content on this channel. It's driven organically by my love of folding knives. I get bored of things really quickly, and this was a Grail knife, and I had it, and I love it, and it's amazing. It's an amazing knife. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be, and then some. But I've experienced it now, and it's time to move on. I think a lot of you guys can relate to that feeling. Jake Welch says, "I have to go to bed. MC, my mom is yelling at me. Wish me luck on my journey through the knife world." Everybody wish Jake Welch good luck, and hey, listen, man, I think that's super cool that you are enjoying knives at such a young age, and you have a good perspective. I hope you're learning something from my channels, but this message goes to everybody too. You should watch as many different channels as you can, because there's a lot of good information out there, and it's good to get a dynamic, you know? So anyways, I don't want to ramble on too long. Good night, Jake. Thanks for stopping in. Best Stick Fanboy. Stickers, bahaha. Yeah, that's kind of my thought too, but some people might want them. Also, you should do more of these often. I will try, Jake. I will try. Thoughts on the Medford USMC fighter flipper? Ordered mine, can't wait. I love how it looks. My very first nice, heavy quotes, nice fixed blade purchase was actually a USMC fighter from K-Bar or Kabar, or however you want to say that. And I love that knife. I ended up giving it away as a gift. I think it's a really cool idea that they made a flipper version. I have no idea how convenient it's going to be to carry. I imagine if it's like most Medfords, it's going to be very big and thick and tanky, but it looks cool. Be the Example said, "Do you happen to know any American companies that have knives with a really thin edge behind the edge, like Medford does?" Wait, is that a joke? Wait a sec. Let me make sure I'm reading this here. Do you happen to know any American companies that have knives with a really thin edge behind the edge like Medford? Well, I don't think Medford's known for having for being thin behind the edge. But as far as American companies that make knives that are thin behind the edge, Spyderco, the Spyderco Golden Colorado line. You might be trolling me. I don't know if you did. If you were successful. Brewhound77, what's up, man? Don't forget to drop a like on the vid, brethren. Thank you so much. There are currently 9 likes on this video. If you guys hit like right now, there will be more than 9 likes. Oh, no, there's only 8 likes. That didn't work, Bruan. That didn't work at all. People are going backwards. Oh, man. Cody says, buy a cheap Fisher Space Pen around $20. That's a good idea. Thank you for that. I didn't know that they were only $20. I really want to get a Curtis Knives Enlarged F3 Warning in Damascus steel. Jeff might be helping out the channel with that. I think we're going to get a look at more than one Curtis knife here in the very near future. Kyle Roberts says, is it word that, oops, typo. Chris, the knife flu has infected us all. Any hands-on experience with Curtis knives? Not yet, but like I said to Harry, soon. Let's see here. Is it weird that I have the same Koenig areas that you've reviewed, but I've watched your review like 4 times while flipping my own? I do that all the time. Kyle, I think that's something that we all do, and it's just like, it's a therapeutic thing. It's a reaffirmation that we made the right choice. People who have bought a Praetorian tie will watch a video like mine and hear me say good things about it, and it just makes them feel good. I like to sit on my couch and have a beverage on a Saturday night and watch a video about a knife from Dr. Franke or Nick Shabazz or Jim Skelton that I own, and I like to hear them say nice things about it, and I like to flip it and enjoy it because it makes me feel good. Why not? You know, I mean, it's kind of skewing things, you know, to have selective hearing, but you've already bought it, you've already spent the money on it. If you're enjoying it, you know, why not keep that fire going, you know? Let's see here. I'm Shaker. I'm glad or Harry. I'm glad that you and Brewhound are buddies. That's cool. Cody, the Slim Midi is actually smaller in dimensions than a large Sabenza. Interesting. Is it really? This thing is awesome, by the way, and of course I'm going to say that because I want people to join my Patreon so that but I do want to give this thing away. This thing is amazing. I didn't know that it was dimensionally slimmer than a um, large Sabenza. That's pretty cool. Oh my gosh, we're at 45 minutes, guys. I will cut at an hour, by the way. Hang on, let me get another drink here. I'm trying to keep up with your comments. Okay. When watching a movie or show, you instantly focus your attention on what knife that was and forget everything else. Yes, I can't watch Walking Dead without pausing the video and being like, that's a Benchmade Infidel. There was actually, I think the Spyderco PM2 and the Benchmade Infidel were both in Walking Dead, along with the Bussy Team Gemini fixed blade that Daryl was carrying. I paused the video on all of that and more, and my wife freaked out on me. She was like, if you pause this to tell me about a knife that they're carrying one more time, I'm going to divorce you. I do that all the time. Let's see. Kyle said, I was having me flipping my Arius right now. I would be happy to know that everybody's watching this flipping their knives. That's cool. Timbo 437. My sickness is that once I buy a knife, whether it's a $25 Gonzo or a $500 mid-tech, it's mine forever. I have a hard time parting with any of them. You know what? I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Because then it always it's kind of like you get to see the evolution of your taste in the knives that you've collected. I have actually I've owned so many knives I've forgotten about them, and I'll see a picture of them and I'll go, oh yeah, I used to like that, and then I'll be like, do I still like that? I don't know. I don't have it around to handle anymore. So you still have all your knives, and it kind of slows your pace down, I would imagine. If I kept every single knife, I definitely would not have had so many, or constantly change my mind about things. So that's probably a good thing. Be the example. It was an honest question. I know Spyderco's knives had the. Okay. I'm glad it was I'm glad it was an honest question. It was an honest question. I know Spyderco's knives have edges with 20,000s, but I'm looking for something closer to 10,000s or in between those two numbers, so I have the best cutting tool. I don't know. I need to get a tool for measuring how thin a knife is behind the edge, so that I can actually, give you guys so that I don't have to BS it in something that I immortalize on the internet. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my suggestion would be Spyderco, but I'm sure there's some other companies out there who do really thin stuff. Probably a lot of the people here watching would know. That red ADV is the nuts. I don't know if that is positive or negative, but this thing is super cool. I love this thing, and at $400 was what Jeff told me he paid for it. This is awesome. This would make a really, really fun EDC. I don't know how convenient it's going to be, because like you can see here, there's a double clutch situation. I have to actively kick that thing back over the detent ball, but it's super cool, and it's definitely a quality piece. And it's every time I pick that up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. Eric from Texas. Yep, I'm flipping my Boost Blades CM1. I need to check something out from Boost Blades. I've never handled anything from them. Doug, manly knives are very thin behind the round. There you go. Somebody answered you. Harry said the show that always got me as far as knife goes was NCIS. I've heard that. The ZT0350 Tiger Stripe was in NCIS. I didn't know that. That's cool. I am flipping my custom anode ZT0562 Ti. Did you get that from USA Made Blade? He does a really good job with custom anode stuff. The ZT0562 is one of the very best flippers on the planet. Absolutely. Three Rivers Manufacturing are in the teens behind the edge. Okay, there you go. Nuts is in super. Yeah, okay, good. It was positive. Very cool. Eric from Texas. Look at Neuroknives video on the Microtech LUDT and the thickness behind the edge. Also, the Microtech SOCOM gets 11 on some parts. Really? Like the original SOCOM or the Elite? This? It does slice really well. I've never, this is one that my wife got me, and I don't carry it very much, and I definitely have not used it very much. But it also feels really sharp to me. I don't know. I'm not one of those people who can judge by hand, so I don't know. Let's see here. And the LUDT is a knife, by the way, that I really want to get my hands on. That thing looks like the most amazing size. Besides the ProTech Rockeye with the faux bolster and the texturing on the aluminum, the one that's like based on the custom Rockeye from Les George knives, and probably the knife that's people are more familiar with, the VECP. That's one of my favorite side opening automatics, but I think I might, if I got a chance to handle the LUDT, I might like it just as much, if not more. I need to find a way to get my hands on one of those. Just a sec, guys. Okay. Kyle Roberts, what is your favorite knife you have ever handled? That's a tough one. If I'm going by feeling, honestly, if I'm going by just feeling, it's the Shaman. This thing locks in so well. It just feels like it was made for my hand. Now, if you're talking about like something that I can see and feel and experience like physically and emotionally all at the same time, the textured titanium XM18 was the only time that a knife, like looking at a knife, a picture of a knife online, and then actually handling it. Once I got that textured titanium scale, that that everything, the planets aligned and everything was exact. It just felt right. It was like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it's magnificent. And I never want to. It all of a sudden my bar was set to exactly there. It's why I compare so many things to the XM18. So those two knives, and that's not going to come as a shock, but that was a fun question. Ganji McStanky, sweet name, dude. Any knives you're sad that you lost? Still miss my $30 Kershaw Elmar. There are a lot of knives that I'm sad I've lost. One of my biggest regrets is, and one that I've been thinking about a lot lately that I just mentioned, is a Les George VECP version 3. Mine was all smooth titanium, but I'll tell you what, if I ever come across that exact knife on the forums, version 3, nobody's messed with the edge, and it's mint and it's centered and blah blah blah, but it's the monkey edge frag where they did the faux bolster. I love faux bolstered and textured titanium at about like 70% textured, 30% faux bolstered. I would pay a lot of money for that knife. Definitely. I think that's one of the best knives that's out there, honestly. Let's see. There's Super Steve. Balls, yes. Thank you for coming. Oh man, awesome. I'm so pumped. I feel so blessed to have Steven here. That's really cool. And what an entrance too. I mean, it's in my mind it was like a curtain opened and a bunch of confetti and doves went everywhere, and a symphony. They all just played one note, and it was just Steve screaming balls into a microphone. That's how that played out in my head. Boxers or briefs? Can I say neither right now? Is that appropriate for YouTube? Probably not. Let's see. Oh man, I'm so pumped you're in here. What was the knife that got you hooked? So the knife that got me hooked was, and if I remember this correctly, I did a video on it. And I'm gonna look so stupid if I don't remember it. But I was tagged back when I only had 500 or 600 subs by Slicey Dicey. The knife that what was it? What was that video called? The knife that turned me, the knife that hooked me. I can't remember. But it was, I think it was the Kershaw Blur. And it was an accident. I bought it because I thought it was like super tactical and awesome, and I was like I was like 17 or 18, and it ended up actually being a really good knife and setting a good example for me. So that I think that was the one that hooked me. His SSS special. I don't know what that means. Oh, good. I'm making people laugh. That's awesome. Yay. um, Cody S says, you lost your CRKT tie lock about a year ago. Might be in my house somewhere. Oh, that's brutal. You need to find that thing. I would love to take a look at a CRKT tie lock. If you find it, can I review it? Seriously, though, that sucks, man. I'm sorry that you lost it. Kyle Roberts, so I want a full track. I have another full track coming, and another interesting one. I'm going to find a way to. I've already reviewed the full track, but I'm going to find a way to put it in another video. I'm back on, but my mom doesn't have to know that. Okay, great. Two things. Number one, what happened to the car reviews? That's how I found your channel. And two, I really enjoy the Knife Guy series because I am known as my friends and family, by your friends and family, as the Knife Guy. Hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the feedback I've been getting from my Knife Guy series. That's great that you guys all relate to me. A lot of times I'm worried that the thoughts I have as a knife person are isolated and insane, and it turns out they're not. They're shared by a lot of people, so that's pretty cool. I hope I can keep it going. I hope there are a lot of continuous topics. And what happened to the car reviews? So it got to a point where, I mean, like, I kind of enjoyed it, but the tripod thing, like being able to have both hands, whoops, I just about knocked my drink over. Just being able to have both hands is a big deal, you know, and with, I mean, I'll admit this, with channels like Nick Shabazz who are doing so well, and you know, and I bring him up a lot, but I mean, he's an idol to me. And I really got into the channel, like, or I'm sorry, got into knives, like kind of watching Nick Shabazz, and I really like his style and his format. It's easy for people to see. It's easy for me to talk. It's good, and it's also something that people are kind of used to. You know, Dr. Funky does the same thing. Epic Snuggle Bunny does the same thing. It's a good format. It's a recognizable format, and it's one that people are somewhat familiar with. And so I can keep that the same. I can have both my hands, and then I can make the channel about my thoughts and my personality. The car reviews, a lot of people liked them, but I feel like this is more what people want. And I want to do some things my way, but I also want to do things in a way that attracts people because I want this channel to grow, and I'm still figuring that out. Good question. I need to do better about not taking so long to answer a question because there are more and more and more comments now. Why do you have all these knives? Because people keep sending them to me. Really, really cool people keep sending me their knives, and I promise they're going to get them back. Kyle Roberts says, before they're gone, S35VN, 20CV or M390, before they are gone. Wait, Kyle, are you asking me what I'd recommend? S35VN, 20CV or M390? I'll give you an honest answer on that. If you're going for a full track, I've heard the full tracks are going to be discontinued. So if you're going for a collector piece, I believe M390, it has the fewest runs. So that's probably going to be the variant that's worth the most money. Go with something generic and subdued, like all stonewashed with whatever color you want for the scale. Black does well, translucent does well, red does well. So if you find one of those colors, all stonewashed and M390, that's probably going to be what's worth the most money. If you're going to use it, go S35VN or 20CV. But I think the user version of the full track S35VN is probably your better bet. Do you ever get knife tired? When I get knife tired, I buy a new knife. I don't know if this is ever really going to end for me, you know? Let's see here. Knife Guy is hot. Thank you, Steve. He knows. Steve knows. Hang on, I wish you guys could see me. See, you can't see me. Like, so if I'm going to say something like, you know, transitional and cool and funny, and then take a swig of my beverage, it's just, you know, I'm just talking into the corner of a wall. Nobody can see me, so I don't know who I'm doing that for. But thanks, Steve. Steve and I have had conversations after, you know, after I've had many beverages, so he's messing with me. Let's see here. Chad Knat. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, Knatzer. My mom said I can't buy any more knives. Well, my mom told me that too, but I'm 32, so I don't know what your relationship's like with your mom or how old you are, but I don't know, you know, the last 10 things that my mom has told me to do, I just didn't do them. Mark Grant said, I'm like them cleaver blades. I'm like them cleaver blades too, Mark Grant. I really like them cleaver blades. Them some cool blades, especially this. Look at this freaking thing, man. Golly, does Andre de Villiers know how to make a sick blade? Look at this. It's crazy. God. And this has been around for a long time. It's not new. Super cool. Everybody's yelling each other's names. Ganji, McStanky likes a Slim Midi. Super Steel Steve. Hinderer does the best S35VN I've ever handled. I'm happy to hear you say that. What is their Rockwell at are they doing 60? That's good to hear. That Mick Ultra, baby. Actually, tonight, It's Bud Light, believe it or not. It usually is Michelob Ultra. I'm also that knife guy. Timbo437 says, I'm also that knife guy. All my friends and family think I'm nuts. They're like, how many knives does one person need? The answer is, how many are there? I would agree with you. If somebody asked me like, why do you have all those knives? Why do you have? Are you a crazy person? Anymore, I just don't answer. I generally just walk in whatever direction I choose that's away from that person. I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't have to talk to you. Um, Eric from Texas, knife tired is not in the dictionary in the knife community. Haha. I mean, I think I kind of understand where he's. It's sometimes you get overwhelmed with everything, and you're just like you almost want to wait. It's like when you have been playing. If you guys play video games, I play a lot of video games, and we're not going to make this conversation about video games. But when you're really into a game and you play it and play it and you just beat the crap out of it, and you're maxed out, and your character's level 100, whatever, you got every weapon, whatever, every sword, every piece of armor, and you're like, when's the next expansion coming out? And you're maxed out and you're just playing the same crap over and over and over again. You still love the game, but you need some more content. I think what he means by knife tired. Norman's EDC says hello, Norman's EDC. Did you have a B-day recently? Brewhound, I don't know how you knew that, but I did. Mark Grant, hell yeah. I don't know what he's saying that to, but hell yeah, buddy. Randy F, we don't need to see you if you're going commando. Yeah, you're right. Super Steel Steve says they're 60-61. That's cool. That's awesome. Mark Grant, why don't you have your hinders there? Because they both got sold to pay for this guy, but I do have this one. Here, hang on. I do have this guy, which is actually a vintage, very low serial number, 23 vintage 01 tool steel with a titanium scale in front. This one's going to go back to have this guy drilled out. It is all messed up because the previous owner must have used red Loctite in there, which is no bueno. Wise. Don't use red Loctite on your knives. That sucks. I stopped counting at 250. I don't know what that means. That Olamic Wayfarer makes me want to rob a convenience store. I hope you don't. I don't know what that means. Please don't rob a convenience store. That's all I can say. Why do you have so many knives? Throat punch. This Super Steel Steve's response to that. Junior V, I asked my mom what knife she was going to get me for my B-Day. She asked which one I was getting her for her B-Day. I'm getting like 3 or 4 Gonzos, and my mom wants a Damascus Praxis. Your mom sounds pretty cool, dude. If I asked my mom if she wanted a Damascus Praxis for her birthday, I'm not sure what her response would be. Freedom Van says, had my Civivi McKenna for all of a week before losing it. That sucks, man. I'm sorry. Brewhound says, happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a while ago, but recent enough that I'm curious as to how you figured that out. Super Steel Steve, I want that 01 vintage more than air. I get where you're coming from, man. I mean, it's nice, especially that. Look at how the bronze contrasts with the battle green. And you guys aren't getting the true color because of the light that I'm using, but I mean, here's what I love. They even bronzed the thumb studs. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. You don't see bronze thumb studs. That's a heat treat thing because these are steel. But man, this thing is the enter whatever expletive people use for saying that it's really, really awesome. Bruron says, because in a recent video you said that you were 31, my age now you said you're 32. Hey, well, you got good ears. You're right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was recently 31 and am now more recently 32. So you were paying attention. Chris LRM, some people collect coins, stamps, music albums, but knife collection is personalized because each knife has a story, and I use a knife more than anything else. I think that's an amazing, I think you're exactly right, and that's amazing, the way that you put that. That's really cool, and I think all of us can relate to what you said there. Norman's EDC, I've watched almost all of your videos. I'm knife crazy also. Norman's EDC, that's really cool that you did that. I'm really sorry that you had to sit through my early stuff, and I'm sure in a year or two I'll be saying the same thing about videos like this live feed. Jake says, do you like your Contour J G10 scale on your PM2? Yes, Let me find that thing. It's ever so slightly contoured, ever so slightly, but I really like this, and I got it on Amazon. It's just a little tiny bit contoured, but I carry this thing so much more now. Honestly, the three knives that are dominating my pockets are my PM2, excuse me, Ty, I got to move you out of the way for some spider coats. The Shaman, of course, and my new Manix 2. Those knives are dominating my pockets right now. And every now and then I switch in the Ritter Hogue. It's like this is like 3 days a week right now. This is 3 days a week right now. And this is one day a week mixed in with the Ritter Hogue. Sometimes this is 2 days a week. But I really, really like it. Absolutely. The Wayfarer 247 is on my short list as well. The Wayfarer 247 is a sweet knife. Don't be dissuaded by the slightly stiff action that you feel when you first pick that thing up. Let me move it. I'm going to put this guy in here just for lack of a better place to put him. And I'm going to run over here to my mini fridge real quick and grab another beverage. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. And hang on real quick. I also need to check this monitor. We're good. Okay. So this is fun. This is way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Let's see. Junior V. She picked it. She kind of is. She actually rides a Harley Fat Boy. Junior, your mom sounds like one of the coolest people I've ever heard of. That's awesome. Super Steel Steve says the expletive for bronze thumb studs is the tits. You made me say it. The titties. Try and Ed Copes yet. Heard he is making work very similar to Tom Mail, but with a beautiful twist of finished work. I haven't, but I'm intrigued now. Eric from Texas, do you still have the walnut scale for the XM18 Vintage? I like the contrast to the scale and the hardware. I didn't say it, but this actually isn't mine. This is David's. David has become a collector of Hinder knives and Beg knives almost exclusively. And at some point, I will show you some of his other acquisitions. I told him I would take care of that for him, and I haven't yet because it makes it's an opportunistic show in my channel, so I have it kind of floating around. He's got enough other Hinder. He has my Harpoon Spanto with the tie scale, the one I said I'd never sell. He's got that. That's his now. He uses it every day. So he's happy with his what Hinders he has. Mark Grant says, I like Hinder so much I would put all of them in the drawer to carry the Hinder. I love Hinder knives too, and I think we're gonna see. I think the best is yet to come from Hinder, guys. Honestly, I think Rick Hinder has no end to his innovation. I think we're gonna see some truly amazing stuff come out of that company in the future. And how many makers do you know, honestly, how many makers do you know are coming out with new knives and still finding ways to make some of their knives less like new models that cost less than what you'd think? Like his 3-inch model was $425, and now he's got a skinny version of it with new innovative stuff, bearings, blah blah blah, and they're running what, $375, and he's got the Slippy that runs $275. There's not a lot of people who are doing that. I mean, yeah, I know I'm riding the Hinder bandwagon, but I think that's cool. I just love Rick Hinder. I think he's an awesome guy. Is this your first live? Says Freedom Van. Yes, it is. It's going well. There are 3 times as many people in here as I thought would show up at max. I thought that I would get anywhere from 1 to 10 people. There's 31 people in here, so I'm pretty happy with this. The Olympic Swish Egyptian is my dream knife. Nick Shabazz and Birdshot 4 got to review. I think Jeff has one of those. I might see if I can get that from him so I can review it. I will take your word on it. Harry says, right now I'm switching between my 0562 Tie Full Track and the Marauder H. You like those big boy knives, Harry. I don't blame you. Cody S., is there a little known custom maker that we probably don't know about who is an up and comer in your eyes? I'm not as up on that. I wish that I could say that I was. The reason you guys get so much organic enthusiasm for me is I just kind of I let myself be natural. Like if I'm attracted to something on Instagram, whether it's old news or new news, I show it. You guys get a good mix of new stuff and old stuff. I'm interested in new stuff, but I'm not constantly trying to find the newest maker, so I don't always know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there is somebody that I think is really, really interesting. But I can't think of anybody. And I think I think a name that's they're not necessarily new, but as far as like the name themselves, what I think they're doing, I think Berg Blades is an interesting. I don't know, if I mean I know that they do make some custom stuff, and they've got that collaboration with either Riot or Wii. I think it's Wii who's doing the Slim, which is the smaller version of the Golem or the Golem. I think Berg Blades would be a maker to pay attention to, definitely. I don't know if they're gonna really do anything crazy, but that's a newer maker that I think does really, really good work. Uh, let's see. Any idea when the SOCOM Elite Minis are coming out from Microtech this year? I didn't know they were making a mini version of it. That's pretty cool. I have no idea. I'll keep my eyes and ears open. Let's see. Facts. Rick is like 5'3". I guessed he was a shorter guy. He's got the sausage fingers, and every picture I've ever seen with him with another person, he's shorter than. Jersey Knife Guy, Super Still Steve, what's going on, brother? You guys, if you're not already, I mean, Steve, best case scenario, you gain 31 subscribers from this statement. But if you guys are not subscribed to Steve, you should be. He's one of the most entertaining people in the knife world right now, and it's because he doesn't care what people think. He's going to say what he thinks. And here's the thing: whether or not people agree with YouTubers like me or Steve, it doesn't matter. Like Greg Medford, for example. He's a very polarizing person. Steve can be a polarizing person. I find Steve to be entertaining. That's why I like to go watch his stuff. He says what he I can tell he's real. He doesn't give a crap. He's going to say what he thinks, and he knows it's going to make some people mad, and that's fine. I'd rather it be that and disagree with him than be somebody that I agree with and realize this person's fake. That's why I respect Steve, and I think you guys would be very, very entertained by his channel. He does have some very incredibly detailed factual information on cutting performance and heat treat that you will not find on my channel or other cookie cutter channels like mine. So lots of good reasons to go subscribe to him. Is Rick the bagel boss guy? I don't know what that means. Junior V, I've been contemplating taking a few of my knives to a machine shop, have the thumb studs hole drilled into a spidey hole. Yeah, I think about that all the time. I would love to put a spidey hole in a ton of knives. I'm not as far back on the comments as I thought. Let me speed up here. Hamzad, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I see you comment all the time. Hamzad Kareen, you're around all the time on my channel. I really appreciate it. I enjoy the back and forth that I've had with you. Thanks for showing up, man. Blah blah blah. Congrats on your first live stream. Instagram has a great knife community. It does. I'm finding that I was never interested in Instagram until I became a social media knife person. Let's see. Long time sub to Super Still Steve. That's good. Making Steve blush. Oh my gosh. Legendary comment. Norman ZDC, how long are we chatting for? On an hour and 12 minutes. This is crazy. Steve, CTS XHP versus RDBL 34 versus Nitro V versus 20 CV. Which would you pick? I don't know anything about Nitro V. I would be interested to hear Steve's answer to that. And I think he needs to do an obligatory video for that question alone. What is the ugliest knife you have ever seen? Check out Angry Anchor Knife and Tool. Is the new knife company made in the U.S. Great service and products. The ugliest knife I've ever seen was that one from Spyderco that looked like somebody took a stick of butter and just squeezed it and then just made a blade out of the end. I think it has brass bolsters. It looks like a candlestick. It looks like the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast, but just with one candle sticking out. I hate it. I don't know what it is. Nick Shabazz reviewed it. XHP, that's cool. XHP is one of my favorite steels. So I guess that means I'm just as smart as Steve, right? Mark Grant, not really. Is when I like we got Peon systems about him. His videos. Steve needs to make more videos. Good personality or an attractive personality, whether people are subscribing to him because they do, whether they like him or not. Steve has, what do you have, Steve? Like 40 some videos, and he's got almost 3,000 subscribers. Each video is way more interesting than any one of my videos. I mean, his personality is one that simply draws people in. That's the X factor of personality that I don't have. I thought I had an interesting personality. Apparently not, because my videos don't get nearly as many views, and I don't have the subscriber to video ratio is much better on Steve's channel. Let's see here. Has anyone done a video on the Slim XM18? I hope to soon, definitely. Do you use Chris Reeves grease on your knives? The only time I've ever used Chris Reeves grease is on the Chris Reeves knives that I've owned, and I've only owned two: the Umnumzan and the Inkosi, the large Inkosi. But I have used it, and I find it to be very effective. Any Bestech knives? I love Bestech knives. The Bestech Lion is one of the best budget knives I've ever handled. I gave that knife away on my channel, and I miss it. Grease or nano oil? I don't know. I don't have any experience with nano oil. Nick Shabazz seems to like it. So, Smarter, Super Still Steve Smarter, you're from Kansas. I'm from Florida. We could have a war of the wits there, Steve, between Kansas and Florida. Says the guy who's going commando, and we're still like, hey, that's a good point. There's 33 people here, despite me. Well, I'm gonna leave it up to guesswork on you guys' end. I'm not gonna. Listen. You guys just see knives in my hands. That's it. You're only gonna ever see these beautiful, nasty, calloused hands, and that's it. That's all you're ever gonna see. Norm ZDC, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Go Browns. Hey, that's cool. I'm from Florida too. Have you ever tried the TRM knife yet? I have not. I don't know what that is. But I will go. I'm gonna go back through the comments of this after everything's all done and try and figure some of this stuff out. Kansas wins the smarts battle versus Florida. I don't know, man. I don't know. My grandparents for a long time lived in Naples, Florida, which is supposed to be one of the nicer areas. And I don't know. I mean, as far as like the people I met from Naples versus the people that I run into every day from Kansas, based on that, Florida wins. The people that I mean, walking 10 minutes in any direction in rural Kansas yields not the most intelligent conversation with anybody that you have the potential to walk into. Definitely. Ryan Leitner says, do you collect anything besides knives? If so, what? Not really. I mean, I kind of like single finger knucks, kind of. If I was going to collect something else, I like knucks. I like bottle openers. I like knucks that are also bottle openers. I think that's really cool. Other than that, though, not really. I like any type of small metal trinket. I find those types of things interesting, especially if they're tools. Small multi-purpose tools are interesting to me. Something that was a knuck and a pry bar and a bottle opener that weighed like 2 ounces would be extremely interesting to me. And I know there's stuff like that out there. Kentucky is smart. How's your wife dig your YouTube? She does not care. She thinks it's amazing that people will actually choose to listen to me because she has to. I'm like, honey, you got to hear about this stuff called Damacor. And then I sit her down and she's like, I will end my life before I let you finish telling me about Damacor. I'm not interested. I need to make this stroganoff. That's essentially that's how my wife and I's relationship is with now, but she does organically every now and then when I get a knife, she's like, wow, that's kind of cool. And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. And she's like, no, I didn't mean I want to talk about it. I meant like, it's cool, but can you go away? I'm trying to make stroganoff, or whatever. But she doesn't really care about the YouTube channel. She thought it was interesting that the few videos that she was in got a whole bunch of views, but she does not like talking on camera. She was super shy on camera, and she's not. She's a lot like me in person, but she did not like the idea of her voice being on camera, and she was like, they're going to know that I don't know anything. Like, they don't want to hear from somebody that doesn't know anything, and so she hasn't really had much interest in it. But she's shocked every day by the fact that people actively watch my channel and choose to listen to me. Naples is full of wealthy, old, wise people. Naples is full of wealthy, old people. Wise is on the teetering point. I mean, just A lot of times, so like a lot of times when I meet people who are hyper wealthy, which in my what I do, which is I sell digital advertising on an annual rate to business owners. So I talk with a lot. I talk with a lot of people, take a lot of people out to lunch. Sometimes go out and golf with clients, things like that. Which is I'm not a good golfer, but a lot of times I'm way out of my league, and I find that once you talk with people who have an enormous amount of money, they're either super down to earth, or they're eccentric, or they're just complete jerks. They're just absolutely and it's like I'm not really sure how they got there, but I mean they're polarizing people. What's Damocor? Good question. It's powdered Damascus that has a laminate around it. I don't know. Maybe Steve can answer that question for people. MC, how about watches? I know Nick Shabazz says do not get into watches, but do you have a small collection? I don't. I only have one watch, and it was from my brother. It's the only watch that I ever wear. I would love to get into watches, but I've heard that warning from multiple people, and I know how much more expensive they are than knives. I can barely keep this thing afloat right now. You guys want to know something? My dream is for this channel to get big enough and for my hobby to get big enough that I can make this a part of my life. I can make this like a thing that I actually use to support myself alongside my job. Or, I mean, obviously the ultimate goal would be to not have to work and do this full time, but I think that's a pipe dream. But in order to make that work, I have to make smart financial decisions. And as you can see by my table, that's not the way that's been going with knives. I don't know that I could make that work with watches, as tempted as I'd be. There are some super cool watches out there, but I don't have the same type of knowledge with watches as I do with knives. Which is still, I mean, I sound like I'm being braggy, but really, a lot of people who watch my channel know just as much about knives as I do. I just talk a lot. That's the magic with this channel. That's the trick here, is I talk a lot. Oh boy, guys, we're at an hour 21, and I only really intended for this to go like 30 minutes. So we're way past that point, but I think I'm gonna call it a night here. I really appreciate everybody who came and chatted, and this makes me want to do this again, and I will try. It's always going to be at random. You're always going to get like a 20 to 30 minute warning on Instagram when I do it, and it'll likely be on Friday or Saturday nights. But that's pretty much what this is going to be. So I guess I'm going to do my usual sign off here, guys. If you enjoyed this live stream, please leave a like. And as always, obviously, if you want to check out my other content, I have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check that stuff out. And if you enjoy all my content, then please subscribe to my channel, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody.